Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So in today's video, it is going to be a build guide for Enzo to absolutely sweep the Death Stalker. So without further ado guys, let's get right on into today's video. Before we do that though, real quick, my creator code is going to be on screen right now. It's also going to be the top link in the description. Please do support me, it is the greatest way to help me out. And I'm also going to be doing a ton of giveaways in my Discord server, so make sure to join that. Now with all that out of the way, let's actually get on into today's video. So starting off, let's go on over the Enzo build within itself. So this is the way that we are going to run Enzo. It is going to be a build primarily based around shields. So this is the way we are going to build it. We're going to be using the supply firearm enhancer module. This is going to give it so that we obviously we grant weak point damage and we get more critical hit rate on our weapons. Next up, we've got increased shield. This is going to be, of course, to boost our shield as well as overwhelming shield. Overwhelming shield is going to basically be there to convert our HP down to literally only 1 HP, and everything else is going to go into the shields. Stim accelerant is also going to be there for that too, for extra HP and increased HP, of course. And HP conversion is going to convert the HP into shield, again boosting our shields even further. Now, we are using maximized conservation for a good kick of cooldown, as well as nimble fingers and MP conversion. We want this build to be able to cool down so fast that we are able to spam abilities within this fight if need be. And then we are also pairing this up with shot focus for extra firearm attack, as well as maximized duration for extra duration on our abilities. Now for the maneuvering module, I'm going with long distance maneuvering. This is just here so that we are able to, escape life or death and have that extra distance whilst maneuvering in the actual boss fight. So let's go on over the reactor and the external components. So for the reactor, the weapon mounting at the top really does not matter. The two stats in the middle you're going to want is non-attribute and dimension, and the two stats on the bottom you're going to want skill cooldown and skill duration up. Skill duration up, of course, is going to make your abilities last a little bit longer, and cooldown is going to cool them down a little bit faster, which is also going to be what you want. Now, for the external components with this boss are still a very, very mixed bag. So, what I mean by that is I'm running HP auxiliary support for extra HP. With this specific build, if you max HP out on all of these external components, this will in turn give you extra shield. So in this instance, you can see that my shield is 19,000. If I was to add extra HP onto this, this would also boost and make my shield even higher. Now, I've not gone through every single component, but this is the one that I'm running anyways. I'm using 2-part invader set, so this is from Death Stalker itself, and I'm getting plus 11.9% shields from this. So I'm using MP recovery in combat, MP recovery modifier and shield recovery in combat, and MP and shield recovery out of combat, which is, I think, a good combination for shield regeneration, as well as max HP and MP recovery out of combat. And then I'm finishing it off with a supernova set part, which is obviously strange, but like I said, there's no one fixed part that is better. If you keep getting shields on all this is of course going to help. However, also getting HP on all these components would also be great. Now, I'm also using this for toxic resistance. As you can imagine, a lot, if not all, of Death Stalker's moves are toxic. So you are going to want some form of toxic resistance. In my instance here, I'm using it on the external components. So let me just give you guys a little bit of a bonus and give you the weapon I am using as well, because why not? So in my case, I am using the Enduring Legacy. This is the stats that I have on mine, being firearm critical hit damage, damage to Colossus, rounds per magazine, and weak point damage. Now, are these optimal? Yes and no. So yes for the firearm critical hit damage and damage to the Colossus. Magazine per round is definitely not bad, and it is good, especially in a boss fight like this, because extra damage is nice. Weak point damage is also great, but then again, Death Stalker's weak points are very difficult to aim at, so it's a little bit of a mixed bag, especially with the last two stats. If you want to boost your damage even further, I would suggest using electricity on here, and then also adding, I don't know, critical hit rate, for example. So it's a little bit of that. This is the components that I am rocking, so it is very similar to my other Enduring Legacy build for bossing. However, we've replaced fire enhancement with electric enhancement, and that is basically the only difference between here. So that is the config I'm running on the Legacy. So I'm going to go on into some Enzo gameplay for Deathstalker, and I'm also going to teach you guys the fight. So let's get on into it. Okay, so I'm going to run you guys through everything simple as it gets. Now, with this boss, you're going to want to make sure you're min-maxing and doing as much damage as you possibly can. Starting off with Enzo, what you're going to want to do is use your first ability for the buff and then your fourth ability with the buff. Start shooting, and as you can see here, we're going to hit orange crates. The Stalker will always do that first circle spiraling attack like that. And he will always do that at the beginning, so always be ready to jump over that. Now, as you can see, we are off to a great start. We've already taken out his entire shield almost. You know, we're doing great so far. And obviously, once the buffs wear down, you're going to want to cast them again. Now, MP can be a little bit scarce depending on the fight. You know, it can go up and down depending on how the game is going. But for the most part, you shouldn't struggle with MP too much. Now, as you can see over here, we already have a player who is down, free up my man Enzo. But having a healer in the team, or ideally another tank in the team, is going to help out. The way you are going to want to do is just ideally aim at his weak points, and if not, that is perfectly fine, but just keep doing damage to him constantly. Now, he is immune, so in his immunity phase, he's going to spawn these faces. He's going to spawn these little clock looking faces type of thing. And the way you are going to find out which one is the right one is the right one has hands that are covering the face. So as you can see, that first one that I saw over there was not correct. This one has hands covering the face on this one. So what you are going to want to do is just stand in this circle until the Deathstalker is done. Now, the Deathstalker is not going to make this easy for you at all. What he is going to do is start shooting his skulls at you. He's going to send over some mini fishes at you. He's going to basically do all he can to stop you from getting him out of his immunity, so he is able to wipe you out. Now, the Deathstalker in itself is not a difficult boss. This is what happens with the circles once he starts shooting his extra faces out. But the Deathstalker is really not a difficult boss. It is more just a ton of gimmicks that once you basically know what they are, pose little to no threat to you. As you can see here, the only thing that Deathstalker has that is actually quite scary is the fact that he can take a lot of hits. Even with tons of damage, you are going to need to coordinate with your teammates, coordinate with whoever you're running with, and know what you are doing in order to max this stuff out. Now, there's this here as well, which we are going to call the clock phase. So these clocks will basically spawn in and they will start winding. You don't want them to fully max out, because if they do, they will slash your HP, making it harder for you to survive, and they can also debuff as well. So ideally, you don't want these clocks to fill up. No matter what happens, always keep an eye on the clocks. I think around 4 or 5 clocks will spawn every single time. So, you know, just jump around the map, keep an eye on the Stalker, keep shooting. But make sure you do not let these clocks fill up. Otherwise, it is not going to be a good time for you guys. Moving on, literally all it is just about constantly keeping your DPS and your pressure on this boss. You don't have to use electric on your legacy like I have done, but I just feel like it does make it a touch easier. Now, don't jump into the stupid all circles like I keep doing. And with this build specifically, whenever you are low on HP, or low on shield, sorry, I should say, literally all you're going to want to do is activate your third ability. Your third ability in itself is going to heal you very fast, and that is basically going to be all you need to keep going. It's just use your third ability, use your fourth ability and your first ability when you get a chance, and just basically keep it winding and going. As you can see, that one is there. That doll is also not right. Is this third doll going to be the right one? Nope, that's not correct. So where is the right one? Not that one. Nope, sorry, yeah, it is that one. That's the right one. So you're just going to want to go stand inside that circle with the doll and then just go through the immunity phase. The clocks are basically just a gimmick, and this immunity phase is really not difficult. The only reason the Deathstalker can be an irritating fight is because he does do high levels of damage, but even with this, you can see the way I'm just training these skills. They are not a problem. You just need to relax yourself, calm down, and just figure out what it is you actually need to do. Find teammates that are also good with that and have got the correct builds. Now, I am going to have some other builds coming out for Deathstalker, so stay tuned to the channel. But that has basically been this main build that I'm going to be using on Enzo. As you can see, first ability is down, fourth ability is on, and let's just absolutely melt him with our damage. We might not be hitting the highest numbers ever, however, this I still think is more than good enough, because you can see we got the Deathstalker down in 4 minutes. Not our fastest run. The fastest run I've done has been under 3 minutes, so you know, it's still very much capable of absolutely dogging. So That's basically been this video on the Enzo build for Stalker. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing. In this run specifically, we did 4.5 minutes, and I did nearing enough 50 million in damage. Not the highest I've done, but definitely not the lowest either. I've done 70, 80 million in this fight before, so you know, results may vary, depends on your teammates, and we also got the parts and everything else. But yeah, that's this video. Smash that like button, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!